A dark chapter in our history and the fear that perhaps we didn't learn the lessons of our past. These fears are embodied in a man named Franz Schöonehuber, a former member of Hitler's ruthless SS, and now a powerful new political figure in a reunited Germany. Our David Lee Miller is in Munich right now with the story of the man many say could be a new Adolf Hitler.
Good evening tonight from Munich and Oktoberfest 1990. Usually by this time the partying is over and this town has returned to normal. But this year things are very different, and the Oktoberfest has been extended to coincide with the reunification of East and West. But despite the partying all this week, there is also a darker side. A number of people are concerned Germany may not have learned a lesson from its past. While they sing, dance, and drink all night, celebrating Germany's new future, a few miles away, here in Munich, an eternal flame silently burns in memory of all those who lost their lives at the hands of the Third Reich. Most people in Germany today weren't even alive when Hitler came to power, but a small resurgence of neo-Nazi activity, exploiting the economic uncertainty of reunification, has given new life to a terrible past. Earlier this year, neo-Nazis clashed with police at a graveside ceremony honoring Hitler's deputy, Rudolf Hess. In both East and West Germany, this man, Michael Kühnen, has been spreading hate through the racial politics of Adolf Hitler.
Nationalsozialistischen Bewegungen der deutschen Zukunft ein dreifaches Sieg. Heil! Sieg! Heil! Sieg! Heil!
There is now even a German women's front advising, among other things, that it is better to kill handicapped babies because, in the words of this young member, everything that is diseased is naturally rejected by society.
The tendency is that these organizations, yes, are on the rise, that racism is on the rise. Every major...
Graham Atkinson is a journalist dedicating and risking his life to keeping track of neo-Nazis. He still bears the scars of an attack by a right-wing extremist group in his native Britain. Now, he and Searchlight magazine, a self-described anti-fascist monthly, are tracking the activities of this man, Franz Schöonehuber, the founder and chairman of one of Germany's most controversial political parties, the Republikaner, the Republicans. Although he looks like a kindly old grandfather, Schöonehuber is a former member of Hitler's Waffen-SS, the most elite and most ruthless fighting force in Germany during the Second World War. At the Nuremberg trials, the Waffen-SS was even described as a criminal organization. But these days, that doesn't seem to matter, at least not to the more than 200 people in the Bavarian town of Deggendorf who came here last Sunday night to hear him speak.
I think he's not a neo-Nazi. I am also not. And it's only we have problems here, and he calls the problems by their name. And that's the reason why I vote for Schöonehuber.
Critics, meanwhile, say he is a neo-Nazi in conservative clothes, fighting to extend Germany's borders, threatening to expel all foreigners, and attempting to rewrite history, an important part of his speech Sunday night.
In principle, his ideas and the ideas of his party are little different from the ideas of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party.
Schöonehuber disagrees and says since the war he has worked as a respected actor, journalist, and even the head of Bavarian state TV. But admittedly, all that came to an end when he wrote his autobiography called I Was There, about his days with the Waffen-SS. Yet despite the book, he still claims to have nothing in common with the man to whom he once swore allegiance.
At Nuremberg, the Waffen-SS was described as a criminal organization.
Well, this was silly, and every historian now in the world knows it. I mean, a lot of high German-ranking persons, ambassadors, ministers, state secretaries had been the soldiers of the Waffen-SS, but I was probably the only one who said I was.
You feel you have anything to apologize for?
Nothing.
To become a member of the SS, one had to undergo stringent tests as to racial purity and ideological fitness. And I think that he joined the Waffen-SS because he was a convinced Nazi.
As a former member of the Waffen-SS, how should Hitler then be regarded? What is his place in history? What would you tell people?
Hitler led Germany to the greatest catastrophe of our history. This means all.
Was he a bad man?
You know, the question bad or good is very difficult in history. Hitler made not only a fault, not only a mistake, but he was such a fanatic man, especially in race questions, that I think he was in a certain meaning, he was a bit foolish. Hitler led Germany to this big defeat of our army, and he's responsible of the death of millions of people.
What do you think Franz Schöonehuber really believes regarding Adolf Hitler?
I think he probably admires him.
Yesterday, you spoke of new history books for school children. What did you mean by that? What is the need for new history books?
I always say we have to condemn all atrocities, all crimes of the world during the Second World War. And I feel ashamed of Auschwitz. You know, this is a very dark page, the darkest page of our history. But I say, and I repeat it, atrocities and crimes had not only been committed by Germans, they had been committed also by Americans, by Russians. Also, the American history is not only, it doesn't exist of white pages.
While Schöonehuber appears apologetic about World War II atrocities, his critics are not convinced and say it's just a cheap ploy to win mainstream support for upcoming local and national elections. Perhaps the most revealing observer is self-proclaimed neo-Nazi Mikhail Kunin, who admits with pride Schöonehuber's politics are very similar to his own.
They propagate national ideas, and at the end, it will end with us, our ideas. And so I always say, after Schöonehuber comes Kunin. After the National Democrats come the National Socialists.